Okay, on behalf of my colleague, Professor Dr. Abdalla Mohammed Abdalla, Vice Chancellor of the University of Kordofan, and Professor Dr. Makeen Abdalla Makeen, ex-Vice Chancellor of East University, and now he is Professor at the University of Kordofan. I'm very pleased to present our presentation, and this is the outlines of our presentation. Introduction, Sudan current conflict background and objective, methodological approaches, and key outputs and recommendations. One of the key outputs is the role of higher education institutions in rebuilding sustainable development and peace resilience in post-war Sudan. And finally, conclusion. Okay, in introduction, since early 1990s of the last century, Sudan has witnessed substantial expansion in public and private higher education institutions, virtually covering all states, and the role of these institutions in development, rural development per se was duly acknowledged. And higher education institutions are primarily mandated for qualifying skillful cadres in various realms of knowledge to meet the needs of the community and civil services, research, and as well as community services. And statistics from 1975 to 2018 indicate that a total of 120 higher education institutions, from which 36 are public and 12 are private universities, and 53 private colleges and 19 technical university colleges. This is based on the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research in 2020. And the number of students are tremendously increased from around 26,000 in early 80s to more than 300,000 in 2018. This figure is indicating the development of higher education institutions from 1975, as I mentioned, to 2018, and which is, this figure shows that tremendously private universities is increased from one university to 30 to 53 institutes or universities. It is almost more than the public universities. And also the number of staff accordingly, based on these statistics, are also increased from the different categories of the staff, from teaching assistant to professors, are also increased based on these increment and of the national higher institution, higher education institution. In the current conflict, Sudan conflict, the ongoing confrontation that broke out in 15th of April 2023, a post-rigorous repercussion on rural and urban communities in terms of growing human losses in lives and physical injuries, disruption of livelihood leading to mass displacement and migration, serious damage to infrastructures and public infrastructure, including higher education institutions, inevitable increased risk of food insecurity due to the failure of the agricultural season and interruption in food materials supply chain. Just if you go back to, just to remind the presentation presented by my colleague Ibrahim, that there is food shortages and loss in agricultural production also. Moreover, negative signs of ethnic and political and regional polarization coupled with armed clashes and imminently witnessed. The objective of the study explore the role of higher education institutions in rebuilding Sudan aftermath the current conflict to attain both sustainable development and peace resilience. And the methodological approach to attain the objective of the study, a structured questionnaire, open questions, was designed via online Google form and distributed to 32 vice chancellors of Sudanese universities, where only 11 key informal responses were received. Maybe this is one of the weakness of this paper. Maybe we received only 11 key informants, although 32 vice chancellors were received our online Google form, and the online Google form was distributed along or via the vice chancellor group in WhatsApp. That some of them were already responses. Another questionnaire, also open questions, was also designed for directors of peace centers affiliated to higher education institutions in Sudan, and also only 11 responses were received from a total of 30 peace centers in Sudan. The key outputs and recommendations. The study revealed that universities or higher education institutions can play a critical role in rebuilding sustainable development and peace resilience in post-war Sudan societies in several possible realms. We will see in Figure 3. Each realm has several subcategories. These are the 7 categories that the putative roles for higher education institutions. First one is education for reconciliation and research and knowledge production and transfer, training and capacity building, civic engagement and social cohesion, partnership and networking, maintenance of environmental and natural resources, and peace rebuilding, peace building and reconciliation and conciliation. For the first category, education for reconciliation, there are 5 subcategories that each university can play a role, and these roles, each university can play a role, or in joining with other universities, this can play a role, either single university or join. For the education for reconciliation, the subcategories are fostering coexistence and tolerance among different ethnic groups, providing platform for dialogue among communities, and developing curricula for social integration and coexistence, and launching training programs, launching youth dialogue to combat tribalism and regionalism. While under research, knowledge and production and transfer, knowledge, conflict resolution, governance and peace building, maintenance of environment and natural resources, understanding the root causes of conflict. And there are only 2 subcategories under training and capacity building: prepare competent future leaders and peace curators, and developing long, medium, and short-term courses. Under the civic engagement and social cohesion, there are 5 subcategories providing platform for citizens to build up a sense of commitment and responsibility, promoting social cohesion and solidarity, and promoting empowerment values of equality and justice, and building political system that takes into account tribal diversity. And the last one is sustainable use of natural resources. However, in partnership and networking, there are also 5 subcategories: networking and partnership with global, regional, and national entities, create a platform for post-conflict recovery, and fostering social network essential for rebuilding post-conflict Sudan, and resolving local conflicts through mediation and negotiation and implementation of local programs and initiatives. In maintenance of environment and natural resources, that the subcategories are to setting up programs for removing pollutant resulted from the fight and partnership of health, environment facility and colleagues in common with with natural and foreign organizations. In peace building, there are also 5 subcategories: promoting values of peace and tolerance, and providing humanitarian support, capacity building to manage conflict, and dissemination of peace and human rights cognizance. And lastly, promote sustainable development. As I mentioned, these are the possible 7 roles that each university can play a role or join with other universities, and there are some subcategories. In conclusion, the role of higher education institutions in rebuilding post-war Sudan can exemplified in adopting education for reconciliation programs to foster coexistence and tolerance among different ethnic groups, and the generation and transfer research and knowledge on root causes of conflicts in Sudan is paramount important. And designing training capacity building programs to raise individual and community awareness of conflict resolutions, moreover promoting social cohesion and civic engagement, influencing public policies related to post-conflict recovery, networking, and partnership with development and peace-building curators, local leaders, and community outreach is also paramount important. And last one is peace-building and resilience in addition to maintenance of invested environment and natural resources. And at last, I would like to thank Professor Allam and his team and all these entities that given us this opportunity to share our presentation. And thank you so much.